Welcome to the 130th Annual General Meeting of the McGill Women's Alumni Association, otherwise known as the MWAA, and our past president's panel on Female Leadership in Action event. Thank you all for being here with us today. We have a great agenda where we're going to cover our president's report to learn about the programming during the year, our financials, and our slate of officers. For those who don't know, my name is Meiji Hum, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the MWAA, and I will be chairing this short meeting. If you have any questions at any point, please enter them using the question option at the bottom of your screen. Let's get started. The notice of the annual general meeting of the MWAA was posted on the McGill Alumni website as required by the bylaws of the association and delivered through the electronic newsletters since April 1st, 2021. Also, the minutes of the last annual general meeting have been distributed prior to the board and is available for download on the platform. As we have attained quorum, I call to order this meeting of the MWAA and move that the minutes of the last AGM be taken as having been read and approved. I present a motion to approve the notice of meeting to be taken as read, seconded prior by Irina Kosko. A poll will pop up on your screen. Members, please vote in favor, opposed, or abstain and submit your vote. The poll is closed and the motion is carried. Thank you. I present a motion to approve the minutes of the 2019 AGM to be taken as read, seconded prior by Anelia Wright. A poll will pop up on your screen. Members, please vote in favor, opposed, or abstain and submit your vote. The poll has closed and the motion is carried. Thank you. Now for the President's report. Outgoing President Nicole Wilson has prepared a written report summarizing the work done under her mandate over the last 2 years. This report has been distributed to board members and is available to the audience for download via this online platform. In addition, a print version is available on the association's webpage on the McGill Alumni website at alumni.mcgill.ca. I now invite Wanda Trenier to join me on screen to present the financial statements relative to the association expenses and endowment fund for the past 2 fiscal years ending April 2020. Audience, please note the report is available on this online platform for download.
Thank you, Meiji. Go. The statements that you have before you reflect 2 years, and we are approving both years tonight because of the onset of COVID last year. We were not able to prepare and present them at the time of last year. You will notice in 2019 and 2020, I will speak to both of them at the same time. The Women's Alumnae have 2 scholarship funds, 2 funds at McGill, one of which is a scholarship fund, and the other is the Muriel Roscoe Fund, which supports the Muriel Roscoe Lecture. In 2019, we were asked to help with McGill to sponsor the Beatty Lecture, which featured Jane Goodall. We did this. We sold some of the units in our Muriel Roscoe Fund, which had not been used for a few years. There's a gain on the sale of those units of the $5,000 that you see there. And we contributed $25,000 towards the sponsorship of this fantastic event. The income earned from each of these funds is shown at the very top, $51,800 for the scholarship fund in 19, $49,300 for the scholarship fund in 2020, and then the corresponding amounts for the Roscoe Lecture. We also incur various ticket sales, as some of you are aware, when we have our events, and the related expenses that are incurred to host those events. As a result, at the end of 2019, we had a profit of $38,945, but you see at the end of 2020, there was a loss of $30,000. If I can center your attention to the line that shows scholarships and bursaries, that $82,000, that is the contribution that the Women's Alumni has made to McGill University scholarships for the 2 years. Unfortunately, I presume because of the COVID, the transfer of the funds in 2019 was not done until 2020, but in 2020, the transfer was made in a timely fashion. If you scroll down this report, you will see a summary of the scholarships that were given out for those 2 years. As you saw or will hear later on, we are fundraising for an additional 130th anniversary scholarship fund, which will add. It will be listed under those names under the undergraduate faculty awards. It would appear there in the future once that scholarship has been established. And as you see, we give approximately $60,000 a year in scholarships. Scholarships, also bursaries, 15,000 in the last 2 years have been given out in bursaries to students of need. There are prizes, undergraduate prizes. Those are smaller prizes that are given out at convocation. And we also have a graduate fellowship of $10,000 given annually. If you scroll down a little further to the balance sheet, you'll see that we have cash in bank, cash, operating cash, and also cash in the endowment. That shows the 18,000 that is still remaining in the account. And also the value of the 2 endowment funds that we hold. The amounts that are there are the book values of each of those, but you'll note that the market values are recorded on the left. At this point in time, the market value of the scholarship fund is in excess of 1.2 million, and the market value of the Muriel Roscoe is 112,000. And of course, our equity is equal to the total of our assets. So I would ask that the statements be approved at this point, and that would conclude the presentation.
Thank you, Wanda. I present a motion by Wanda Trenier to approve the Treasurer's report to be taken as read, seconded prior by Laura Swain. A poll will pop up on your screen. Members, please vote in favor, opposed, or abstain, and submit your vote. The poll has closed and the motion is carried. Thank you. This concludes the report of the financial statements. Thank you very much, Wanda. I will now proceed to the election of members to the board. Further to the published announcements referred earlier, and in accordance with the association's bylaws, the nominating committee recommends the following graduates to serve on the board from May 2021 to April 2022 as follows. Executive Committee, the officers are Eleni Bakopanos, Honorary President, Nicole Wilson, Immediate Past President, Irina Kosko, President, Laura Swain, First Vice President, Susan Pollack, Second Vice President, Lynn Swaska, Treasurer, Melissa Spremel, Secretary. Board of Directors, Gawa Atif, Susan Charnosky, Mart Kassouf, Pina Mara, Sylvia Piggott, Julie Savaria, Anelia Wright, and Society Representative, Wanda Trenier on behalf of the Montreal Council of Women. For our members at large, Noran Ahmed, Nora Boudin, Caroline Briand, Connie Contino, Monica Flores, Sonia Mata, and Annie Tarikian. Please note that the slate is available on this online platform for download. A print version is also available on the association's page on the Alumni website. In accordance with Articles 7, 8, and 9 of the association's bylaws, I now present a motion by the nominating chair, Mart Kassouf, to approve the election of the slate to be taken as read and all nominees approved to the respective offices, seconded prior by Gawa Atif. A poll will pop up on your screen. Members, please vote in favor, opposed, or abstain and submit your vote. The poll has closed and the motion is carried. Thank you. Since there's no further official business, I would like to declare this meeting adjourned, seconded prior by Susan Charnosky. But please remain online. The best part of the evening is about to begin. It is now my pleasure to invite our honorary president, the Honorable Eleni Bakopanos, Privy Council BA 76, who will be moderating this evening's panel discussion. Eleni is a proud McGillian who has had a career in both federal and provincial levels of government. Eleni is presently the Vice President of the Canadian Association of Former Parliamentarians and National Chair of the Board of Directors of Equal Voice and VP of the Quebec Chapter. She's also a public policy consultant, media commentator, speaker, mentor, passionate advocate for minority rights and women's equality, and a very dear friend. Welcome, Eleni. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Meiji. And first of all, and also Wanda, let me first of all congratulate the new members of the McGill Women's Alumni Board, and also other friends who we've worked together who are now also been re-elected to the board. It's my pleasure and honor today to moderate a panel about leadership and also about the McGill Women's Alumni Association. It has been a challenging year for all of us. And I think sharing stories is one way we can also be inspired and be motivated. So I hope tonight you will all be inspired and you will all be motivated by the stories that we have to share on why we are proud members of the McGill Women's Alumni Association, which, by the way, is the only alumni association left in any university. And we also celebrate this year a milestone, our 130th anniversary. And of course, as you all know, as proud alumni of McGill, McGill is celebrating its bicentennial. So there's lots of celebrations, and tonight we're going to celebrate three very important members of our organization who for many years I've worked with, and I've had the pleasure to be able to participate in numerous activities with them, and I consider them all friends. So let me begin by introducing our panel. I will begin by the sitting president, who actually is now the outgoing president, Nicole Wilson. Nicole served from 2018 to 2019 as a president of the board. Hi, Nicole. So Nicole is an associate operations officer, ESG advice and solutions with the International Finance Corporation, the IFC, which is the World Bank Group's private sector arm. And we are so proud, Nicole, that we have a McGillian at the World Bank, and we wish you, of course, continued success. Here she supports and advises the department's director to help manage all aspects of its strategic and operational ESG activities. Nicole received her Bachelor of Science with a minor in management from McGill University in 2009 and her Master's of Applied Science and Management from Ryerson University in 2013. Next, I'd like to introduce a very, very good friend, and we've been on and off the board together over many, many years. We won't say how many, of course, Anelia, you and I, but Anelia served as president from 1996 to 1998, has remained actively connected with the university in varied capacities since graduation. She has served as class agent for her faculty, the School of P&OT, I should have said occupational therapy, sorry, hosting class reunions for the 25th, the 40th, the 50th, and the 60th anniversary years. She joined the MWAA in the 1980s, and over the years has chaired a variety of signature events and served as president of the association, as I said, from 1996 to 1998. She is currently chair of the Scholarships and Awards Committee and co-chair of the MWAA's 130th anniversary campaign, and doing an amazing job at it, Anelia, motivating all of us, inspiring all of us to do better. She also received the Distinguished Service Award from the Alumni Association of McGill and was honored by her faculty with the Alumni Award of Merit. Welcome, Anelia. Lastly, but not least, is Pina Mara, who served as president 2008 to 2010. Pina is a manager in the Deposit-Taking Supervision Sector of the Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions of Canada. She has over 18 years of experience in the financial industry. Pina has her CPA, her CA designation, and received a Bachelor of Commerce and Graduate Diploma in Public Accountancy at McGill. She's completing her Master of Engineering Innovation and Management à l'École de technologie supérieure. So welcome to all the panelists. And let me begin by saying, if you have any questions, please use the chat feature and let us know. We will go through a couple of questions to each of the panelists, and at the end, I will take questions from our participants. So let us begin by asking, first of all, Nicole. Nicole, why did you join the MWAA and not some other organization at McGill?
Well, it's a great question. So I think first and foremost, it was really important for me to stay connected to McGill in some way. I really feel like McGill gave me such a fantastic education that when I graduated, I wanted to give back. I entered the workplace, and although a lot of people had told me about, you know, the crazy workplace out there and sort of the challenges for women at work, I really didn't believe them until I worked in a male-dominated world. And I thought, oh my goodness, I need to find a network and a sisterhood of women who, you know, not only help to raise me up, but that I can also give back to and help to raise up going forward. So that was the reason why I reached out to the McGill Women's Alumni Association.
And we're so happy you did, Nicole. Pina.
Yes. Well, in my case, I wanted to give back as well to McGill, and I wanted to get involved, but I saw and I attended one of the MWA's events, and I was very impressed by the event and by all the women that organized it, that I reached out. There was a link saying we were looking for volunteers. So I reached out to the president. Everybody brought me on board to the board just to see how everything is going, and I was impressed, like Nicole was saying, as a sisterhood, everybody helping each other, passionate women wanting to make a difference. And I said, I would love to join you and help you in your cause and in our cause in all these years. And what's beautiful about this group is everybody is open. You could bring your own ideas. Everybody will support you. So I'm very glad I was part, and I still am part of this group.
And I want to underline, Pina, that during your presidency, we were celebrating our 100th and 20th, and that we did have a scholarship also that we managed to raise money for. So we're counting on everybody's support to also raise this 130th anniversary scholarship for the STEM faculties and the STEM students. So congratulations, Pina, because under your leadership, we did succeed in doing a very important scholarship. So Anelia, you and I have been on and off, at least myself, I've been on and off the board for quite a while. We've had so much fun. We've met amazing women of all ages on our board. So you tell me why you joined. You were president in 1996 when I was an MP, so I was not part of the MWAA at that time. I had stepped back, but tell me why you first joined the MWAA.
Well, McGill friends of mine that were ahead of me at McGill were members of the McGill Women's Alumni Association. And so they invited me to join. And at this point, it was the timing was just right, because I was coming back to, just recently been widowed. I was coming back to work, and the programs that the McGill Women's Alumni had was so relevant to my thoughts of transitioning. And it was how to prepare a CV, job interviews, public speaking. They were so relevant. These are the skills that, of course, you lose when you move away from McGill. Plus, it gave me an opportunity to reconnect with McGill. I loved my days at McGill. It was the most fabulous education you can have. And so the timing was right, and I've been there ever since.
We all love McGill, we all love our alma mater, and we all want to give back. So the second question, and I'll start with Pina this time. How did your education at McGill prepare you or impact your personal and career choices? And perhaps you'd like to mention a mentor or two at McGill, Pina.
So definitely, when I knew I wanted to attend McGill from the moment I came to an open house, it's a culture. All universities are great, but there's a specific culture, the campus, and it's internationally renowned. I studied for 5 years. You were mentioning 3 years full-time BCom, and then 2 years for preparing myself for the CPA, the CA exam. I met great colleagues, the teacher, and I think it's the quality of the teaching, right? They teach us about, it's all about the approach, how to take upon a problem, how to find a solution. So that really stuck with me throughout my career. With the studies that I did, it opened so many doors. I even came back one semester teaching external audits. And I love that experience also to give back in another way. But definitely it brought me a lot of opportunities, also because it's an international renowned degree, and definitely mentors. There's teachers. There's so many colleagues, students.
There's got to be one though. There has to be one that stands out.
One
Maybe not necessarily in accounting. Maybe not necessarily in accounting.
Eleni, I may not choose one because throughout my career,
okay,
there was a specific person at the right time that was there for me and helped me in all my life. Men and women, definitely, and definitely that's why also we want to give back. We want to give that opportunity to others to fulfill their dream and come to McGill.
Thank you, Pina. Anelia.
The first few sentences that Pina said are exactly the same. The excellence of education. When I was out interning, I realized that my education at McGill was a cut above the others. It was hard. The professors and teachers were hard on you, and they did not accept mediocrity. But you came away so skilled. But there was also the camaraderie, the passion. I mean, we were 9 girls in the class of physiotherapy. We still, at our 60th reunion, we still come together. There is a thread of friendship and a spirit of friendship that McGill has been part of my life forever, and I cannot think of it without it.
Nicole.
Fantastic. Well, just to echo what's been said, I think for me, I do have a mentor that stands out in particular that really shaped my experience at McGill. And I had studied science for my first 2 years, always thinking it was, med school was the goal. After working for a doctor for a summer, I realized that wasn't the right path for me. And I ended up doing a minor in business, and that's
you didn't like blood.
Yeah, you could say that.
I'm with you.
But I met a fantastic professor in the Faculty of Management. Her name is Meg Graham, and she taught a class called Strategies for Sustainability. And it was an aha moment for me because I knew that I wanted to have an impactful career. That's why I sort of thought medicine was what I wanted to do, but I didn't realize that I could have an impactful career working in the corporate world. And sort of her opening my eyes to the world of sustainability, which is what I do now, working for the World Bank Group. It completely impacted my now trajectory of where I am today. So, and outside of the classroom, I have McGill to thank for my now husband. So a little personal and professional.
There have been a lot of relationships that have been they've met at McGill and they've gotten married, and I hear that quite a lot. Unfortunately, that's not where I met my husband, even though my husband is a double McGill graduate, just the same.
Great.
But it's and my daughter was a McGill graduate also. I have to say, there is one of, if we're talking about mentors, F.R. Scott, which is really an icon, was a real mentor. He was in his 80s when I met him at McGill. The other thing that I'd like to say about McGill, no matter where you go in the world, if you say you're a graduate of McGill, the name recognition is absolutely there. It is a world-renowned university, and I feel so proud that I was able to live in the city of Montreal and be able to go to McGill University. It's a real privilege and an honor. So, Anelia, you have done fundraising over many, many years at McGill, and this year we taxed you to do the 130th scholarship for the celebration of our organization. So I pass it on to you to talk about how the historical background to our organization and how important scholarships that we actually had the privilege of giving to many young women, students, thanks to the vision that the founders of our organization had to have an endowment fund, and we are all continuing that legacy. So over to you to give us a little historical account of the MWA and the milestones that we've had over the years.
I wish that I could, thank you very much, Eleni. I wish that I could bring back the picture that was at the beginning of, that was introducing this event. There are more than 8 women in that particular photo, but the one with the first 8 graduates is very similar. But just to let you know that the McGill Women's Alumni Association proudly honors and continues the legacy of those first 8 very committed and dedicated women who graduated from McGill, think of it, 130 years ago. I mean, the drive and the passion, we have to admire their sheer determination to receive a McGill education, and we continue to support their commitment to ensure that higher education is passed on to future generations of McGill women. I wished that I could ad-lib this presentation, but to do it justice, I can't, because I hate to to forget anything that is important. So bear with me. I wish I had a teleprompter, because I have to keep glancing down at my notes. I apologize.
I think, Anelia, we can invite everybody also to go on our website where we have all these documents if anybody's interested. And some of it was presented while people were waiting in the chat, but please go ahead. So if anybody wants to learn more, they can always go on our website, and we invite them to do so.
I really think that the passion and being able to continue this sisterhood after they graduated, that's what formed our group. So again, we're built on women and friendship and women supporting women. We've also got one of the next slides is the MAA has been proudly been awarding annual scholarships to worthy McGill students since, I think it's 1935. There are some really new figures, and these are astounding. We give out between 14 and 15 scholarships annually, and the dollar value of these awards is $60,000. So annually. So if we put all of the information together, we have awarded over $400,000 worth of scholarships to nearly 2,000 worthy McGill students. An absolutely amazing feat. Everybody's mentioned it. Giving back to McGill is a most honorable tradition. And to honor the legacy of those 8 pioneer women and celebrate our special 130th birthday, we launched the McGill Women's Alumni 130th anniversary fundraising campaign, wait for it, to raise $130,000 to fund a new scholarship which will directly support female students in STEM at McGill. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We kicked off this fundraising campaign last September during homecoming and have to date raised $74,000, 55% of our goal, but there's $40,000 to go to fund the full scholarship, to fund the full endowment. But we have until September to do it. So we are working very hard to reach our goal, but the MAA, our little group is 20 women. So 20 women have raised $74,000. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Anyway, this is our fundraising team. We're starting phase 2, which I call our corporate and industrial division. We've done the research and are in the process of preparing written proposals that will hopefully attract some support from the industry giants in STEM. So really, we've got a method to our madness, and hopefully that again, this is for you guys it's new, but for me, we'll get there.
Anelia, thank you very much for your leadership. Thank you so much. I'm sure everyone listening to us can not only think about helping us, but the contribution can be any amount. We will, you know, there's small amounts, there are big amounts, but we encourage you all, if you believe in education, if you believe in helping other students, to please go ahead and make a donation so we can reach our $130,000 goal that we have set. So now I'd like to be able to talk a little bit, because some of the questions that are coming in are about career. What's your career like? How do we balance our personal life with our professional life? I know it was one of my biggest challenges, having been elected with two very young children, 1.5 and 3.5. It was my biggest challenge. I'd like to hear from Nicole. How did you manage to, because you got married also recently, so now there's another challenge. You're a wife, and also you have a very demanding career with the World Bank. So what advice do you have for some of the participants that are listening in on us in order to, for them, what advice that you would give them if they are facing these challenges that are going to be obviously there no matter what you do in life?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And unfortunately, I don't have a silver bullet solution, because I think that work-life balance is perhaps not necessarily something that I fully believe in. I think I believe a little bit more in work-life harmony. And I must be completely transparent. I don't have young children at home, and so I can't speak fully to the challenges that I know that many women face with balancing children and demanding careers. But what I can say is that leaning, and I think bringing it back to the McGill Women's Alumni Association, is sort of my experience in being amongst such a fantastic group of women, not only on the board, but also in the women that I'm able to meet at events, whether they're in person or virtual, is some of the commonalities that we discuss when talking about work-life balance, is recognizing that life is about an ebb and a flow. And so there are going to be certain times in life where career is going to sort of be center stage, or where your personal life will take the center stage. But what's most important is to surround yourself with women outside of your work or within your workplace that you can lean on, women and men actually, that you can lean on in order to be able to discuss some of the challenges of the work-life balance piece, but also to build a network of people who can support you in your team when work flow is busy, that you can rely on. One of the big things that was important for us with the McGill Women's Alumni Association in the past year was, how can we build forums for young women in their careers to talk about issues like work-life balance? And so that was really one of the motivators for why we launched, and I'm excited to say that we've launched the Mentorship Program this past year. We're still in our pilot phase, so we had the opportunity to match. We have 30 matched pairs. We had an overwhelming number of people who applied to be mentors and mentees. I think there's just so fantastic to see the amount of people who want to give back by being mentors, and we thank all of those who are here with us that are mentors for doing so. And these are the types of questions that are fantastic to talk about with a mentor, to raise questions around work-life balance and to hear different perspectives. Everyone will have a different approach to how they think about work-life balance or work-life harmony, and you have to do what works for you, but recognize that you're not alone and you have people to talk to. So I think, it's not necessarily the silver bullet response, but
no, but I think it's in
our community.
I think we have to thank you, Nicole, for the launching of the mentorship program. I am participating actually, and I'm enjoying very much having the conversations with my mentee. And I know that most of our other colleagues also are very happy to be able to give back. And it's mostly about supporting. It's not necessarily, in my case, the person happens to be interested in politics, so it fits very well, but it's general life experiences, right? I think the other point you made, and I think we will all agree, that no matter what profession you're in, you have to have support outside of that profession. I know my parents and my friends were a great support, as was obviously my husband, who took on the greater role of parenting and at the same time gave up, sacrificed a lot. So I think it's important, and it's a message that I always give to the young women I mentor. Make sure that you have that support system, because in any job you need that. So Pina.
Yes. Well,
what would you like also to tell us about your career, the role and the scholarships and others that have played in your life?
maybe I could just do a segue to what Nicole was saying, just to
Mhm.
I think more and more today employers are open, right, to give employees the time they need, whether to take care for, for children, or in my case, it was taking care of for my dad. So I think the key point is communicating. As a manager as well, I had employees who had health issues, and it's all about communicating and adapting. I think both parties today in 2021 are open to this, and I think one thing I want to make sure everybody knows is that you have to not forget yourself, right? I think
Self-care, self-care.
self-love, eating well,
Yes.
doing exercise, taking the time to go for a walk. I was doing with my employees walk and talk. So we have meetings walking outside. So
Wow.
yeah, so talking, exactly, just taking the opportunities to do these things, because it's important to take care of ourselves and also of others. And employers today more than ever are open to that. So I tell everybody to just communicate that to your managers, to your employers, and I'm sure that everybody wants to see their employees happy, both at work and also at home, because we're often more at work than at home. So
well, the pandemic has changed, right? The pandemic has changed the way we're working. So you raised a really important point about self-care, because we are listening to the news, and a lot of people are suffering through mental illness because of the pandemic, some more than others. So I think it's important what you just said, self-care and a good support system. Pina, is there anything else you wanted to add? That I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, it's good. Maybe other type of advice is that, we're living in a fast evolving world. So I just say, stay curious. Don't be afraid to try something new. I was in accounting. Now I'm more, let's say, in supervision, risk management. Who would have thought, right? But yeah, so this is what it's all about. So we need to be, diversified also in our experience. So go ahead, jump, and be a great leader. Lead by example. I think you'll be recognized for that. So and be yourself. Be yourself. I think.
Be authentic. Be authentic. Yes. Be yourself. Anelia, you have been a leader to our organization for so long. So what would be your advice to all the young women who are other women who are listening to us today about the balance?
Fortunate that I chose a career that was very portable, and that would healthcare and physical and occupational therapy last you a lifetime. I was a pediatric specialist. Now I'm a geriatric specialist, because it's the same skills. Taking a page out of Pina's book, I am constantly telling caregivers that they must take time for themselves. They must eat healthy, step away, get help with their, when they're caring for their loved ones. All of these things are very important. And I'm very grateful for the career that I did have, and that I can still use it every day. The two of you, your careers are far more exciting than mine. But I'm saying I'm very
relative.
Yes, it is all relative. I agree.
But healthcare is with you forever. You're a nurturer. You're a health caregiver. I'm always dispensing exercises for ailments. So here we go. No, but I'm very, very grateful.
You've also been a dispenser of other things to all of us, Anelia. I want you to know that. You've been inspiring, you've been motivating, and we do come to you once in a while for some health advice too, by the way. I wanted to take a question, which I think is kind of interesting, because I had a question which says, hello, my name is Kristen. I am a teacher at Villa Maria College, joined by 7 of my secondary 4 and 5 students. Welcome to the students, and thank you for joining us today. What advice would you give these young women and aspiring leaders? So let's start with Nicole.
Oh gosh, to be young again. No,
yes, yes. I agree.
I think what Pina said, I'll maybe just jump on that point, is the first point I want to make is absolutely about staying curious. I think the world really tries to encourage you to make decisions that you feel have to last a lifetime at such a young age. You know, you have to choose which avenue you're going to go into: sciences, business, arts. And I think that, you know, what my experience has taught me is that we need more people and more leaders who actually have experience across and not siloed in one or the other, because of the challenges that we're facing in the world, whether they be, you know, health-wise, whether they be sort of climate change. We need people who can understand the big picture and not silos. So all to say is that don't worry that a decision that you make today has to impact, you know, 20 or 30 years from now. The jobs that exist today will not exist in 20 years from now.
Absolutely.
The way that you stay relevant and become a leader is by continuing to learn, to grow, to stay curious. And the second point I want to make is that I think a lot of people glamorize leadership and show leadership as sort of figureheads or people who are sitting in positions of power. And I don't believe that, you know, leadership is that. I think that every single one of us can be a leader in our day-to-day. Leaders are those who serve others, who see potential in people and see potential in process, and then really have the courage to develop that potential. And so I think that you're recognizing that in every little action or activity that you take, even at the stage of life that you are in now at Villa Maria, I think it was, you can be a leader in your day-to-day. So I'll stop there.
Perfectly said. We're all leaders. Yeah. We are all have, and if we remember what another famous woman once said, she said, "Be the one. Be the one. You can be the one." So Pina, what advice do you have to the secondary students who are participating with us today, and we thank them?
Yes, well, get involved. I started late. I started after university when I first started working. You meet so many great people. Get involved in things you love, in things you cherish. Climate change, is it children, is it you know, at school? Get involved, because you know, school teaches you, you know, great things for you to get a great profession. But when you get involved, you meet other types of people, and you also develop other types of skills. In my case, we're often behind the screen, and when we are with the association, with McGill Women, today, look, we're speaking to all of you, and it gives us the opportunity to develop our communication skills. So by getting involved, not only are you giving back to a cause that you love, but also you're learning and meeting so many great people, good people, very good people that want to give back, and you build your network.
Perfect. Very, very good advice, Pina. Anelia, what would you tell these students at Villa Maria?
I would thank you for listening in on us, and it's great to bridge the gap. I love the thought of youth, but I want to say one little thing. All of what the others said is very valuable, but be kind to each other. Be kind to each other. Listen. Have friends, and that's the main thing. Life at this age in this world is very difficult, and children are often, and I've got kids that are not much older than you guys. I mean, I'm not saying that, but my children are teachers in schools, and the children are cynical. It's difficult for them to believe that something's going to be good, or that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Be curious. You've all said it. I don't want to say think outside the box, because that's kind of but also stay in school. And
yes.
I mean,
get a good education. Get a good education.
And all the other girls, so you would expect something a little more mature from me. So anyway,
perfect advice, Anelia. Stay in school. Do whatever you can. And I do want to repeat that when I started at university, I was supposed to be a biochemist. I ended up being a politician. So, you know, you never know where the road or the journey is going to take you, but be open.
Yeah.
Be open to different experiences. I mean, maybe your parents think you should be a doctor. Maybe you're, as Nicole said, that's what she was headed, but that wasn't the road, that was her passion. And I always say to any young women that I mentor, follow your passion, because it's not about the money. It's not about the position. It's about finding happiness in life. And we all search that in life, especially now that we're living under a pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay, that we need to be happy at what we're doing. And it's difficult also because we're all stuck inside. But I'm going to do some rapid questions to our panelists because I read through the questions and I think they're more or less will be answered if we do this rapidly. So I'm going to ask each of you to name one woman leader who you admire. I know it's a hard question, but Nicole, did I put you on the spot? Anybody can jump in.
Oh no, I mean there's so many, but I would say Michelle Obama probably is somebody.
Absolutely.
Keep it short.
Pina.
Yes.
Ah, you've got a book.
RBG. Tyler Ginsburg. I saw her movie. I'm reading her book.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Inspiring, a very kind, very low-key woman, but yet she made a lot of.
What a dynamo! What a dynamo! Yes. Anelia, one woman you admire.
I'm saying both of those were on my list, and now all of a sudden I'm down to number 3. Those are my first 2 choices, actually, Michelle Obama but I'm also the current the current Vice President of the United States. That's number 3.
Yes.
And the Prime Minister
Kamala Harris
of New Zealand.
Yes.
Arlinda Jun. Yes.
Jacinda Ardern. Yeah.
There's the package.
Well, I totally agree with all those choices, but I have to say one other one of mine, and she wrote this book, which for anybody who wants to learn about the history of our association, it's Marty Gillette, who I had the pleasure and honor of actually meeting. She's written 2 books, but for any of you who are out there who want to read a good book about some of the autobiographies of some of the very famous women, I'll give you one example, Jean Sauvé, who was my member of parliament, who was the first woman speaker in the House of Commons, and who was the first female governor general in this country. And it's all about their education and how important their education was. So we'll go to another rapid question. What quality would you say a woman brings to leadership? I'll start with, well, okay, whoever wants to jump in. What's the different quality that a woman brings into leadership that maybe her male counterpart does not bring into leadership?
Empathy.
Okay, Nicole.
I don't want to say that men don't bring this quality, but I think women are.
I didn't want to mean that.
More empathetic leaders. So empathy, I would say,
right.
Ability to connect and empathize with others.
Well, we've seen that in the pandemic, women leaders have done a lot better because of exactly one of their qualities is compassion and empathy to their fellow citizens. Pina.
Yeah, I agree with Nicole, and also a great listener. I think that's important as well.
Absolutely. Anelia, what's one of the great qualities that women bring to the leadership table?
I would say fairness.
Yes.
Fairness. You look at it through, and motherhood teaches you that, to be fair to your children, to whatever. I think fairness. You listen, and you don't necessarily. Nothing always has to be right and wrong or black and white. Be fair. Okay.
Thank you to that. So we'll go on to a funny now rapid question. What's your favorite dog, Nicole?
Oh gosh,
breed of dog. Breed of dog.
Well, my husband and I have
you could be
on an
cat
Aussie
person.
Doodle. We want an Aussie Doodle, the mix between an Australian Shepherd and a poodle.
Wow.
Hypoallergenic, energetic, and a good size.
Pina. You could be a cat person too, right? So it's not only about dogs.
I love animals, but a dog, I saw the movie Hachi. It's a Japanese Akita.
Yes.
It really touched me, and the dog is, to me, almost human. So.
Anelia, did you ever own a dog?
Listen, yes, we've always owned a dog. I grew up with Lassie, and so I had a collie dog.
I had a Bichon Maltais. I miss her every day. We had her for 16 years. So I think I have to wrap up if I understood, and excuse me, because my little chat thing doesn't want to go on here. I think we're nearly at the end. I do have one other question. I'll go around because I think we have about 5 minutes left. So one of the questions was how do women, but I think we sort of answered it when we did the rapid questions. What is the one quality that women leaders bring to the table that other male counterparts don't bring to the table? But I think we sort of answered it. But I have another question. I have another answer to that, by the way. I remember reading a story that there was a woman who ended up being the only woman on a board. And when she would go to meetings, there'd be no chair for her. So she brought her own chair at the next board meeting and made room for herself at the table. So I think that if there is no room for you at the table, then you make your own room at the table because you've earned it. You've earned it by working hard. So I think I would say that. What would you say, Nicole?
I completely agree. And I think, I would even sort of add on that and say, if they don't want to move over at that table, well, then go build your own room and build your own table and put your own people around it.
I like that even better. I like that even better.
I think that, yeah, that's what I would say.
Absolutely. There are so many women who have started their own businesses, by the way. I was reading recently in the pandemic, exactly for that reason. They decided that this was the time now to build their own small businesses. And this country runs on small businesses, by the way. So, yeah. Pina.
Yeah, well.
Should they bring their own room or should they bring their own chair or something else to the table?
I say get your own ally as well. Get support. We're talking about men and women. Men and women want to support each other. So I think find somebody who wants to mentor you, coach you, sponsor you. And I think somebody will give you half his chair or half her chair.
They'll get up for you. Right?
Yeah, they'll get up for you. I really agree.
No, I do want to insist that I've had male mentors over the years who have been very important in my life too. So it's not only about the women mentors, it is about making allies. And I perfectly agree with you that most leaders, if they're good leaders, will be available to anybody in their team to mentor them. Okay, I think it's one of the best qualities of a leader that they are open to also making sure that those who are working for them have the same opportunities and even provided more opportunities for them, whether they be male or female. So Anelia,
I think no.
Should we we're going to bring the table, the chair, or are you going to be the one to do the physical therapy for the rest of us once they break our legs? So I'm kidding, of course.
I think all of us are on the right track. And this again is what women do. We negotiate. We try and find collectively a solution that is acceptable to the team, or to make it work, or find a solution that will reach our goal, or whatever terminology we want to use. This is what we do. We're good negotiators. We're good compromisers, and not necessarily compromising to lose our goal or to whatever it is. This is how women work together. I worked at a nursing home, and the special part about it was 34 ladies who looked after each other. And just to see this caring for each other with dementia, with all of the other skills that they're losing, but they still have that they walk arm in arm to the dining room. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It is.
So I have one more question that's coming from the audience that I would like to ask. as a female leader, what has been the most significant barrier in your career? We didn't talk about the barriers. We did talk about some of the successes. So we'll just go round fast because we're coming near the end. So Nicole, what was one of the most significant barriers?
A significant barrier for me, I would say, gosh, that's a very difficult question. I would say that the barrier for me was not understanding that in some parts of the world or in some sectors, things haven't changed so much. And so there are more barriers for women. But I would say that with that same mindset, that was the biggest opportunity for me because it made me shift my mindset. Ultimately, I knew that I had the power in order to make change within the organization. So many people, will sit around and complain about the status quo, but unless you're willing to stand up and change something about it, either change the situation or stop complaining. That's sort of my MO with things. So I think that was
I agree.
a significant barrier that's actually an opportunity.
Pina.
Well, I think it's the biases that exist of women. If we're kind, we're weak. If we don't speak, we don't know. I think with the years, and especially now today that we're even more conscious of all these biases, I think there's more understanding, more communication, and I think we're on the good route. But never let yourself be beaten by these elements, and don't change. That's why we're coming back to be authentic, be yourself. I'm an introvert by nature. It's okay. You could still be a great leader. You could still communicate very well. I think it's just about understanding each other and treating each other as humans, right? We're all equal. They hire us for our brain. So that's what should showcase and should be put forward.
Well, no one's going to say that there are no stereotypes. There still are stereotypes. And I know in the field that I'm in, also, and that I've been in politics, there is a double standard in terms of women and men, no matter what. I think some of those barriers are coming down. The Me Too movement also moved what is going on with racism in the United States has also changed the way people are viewing also the workplace and the systemic discrimination that exists. But I think we can all individually contribute to making sure that things change by standing up and speaking out and helping someone who may be less likely to stand up and speak out. Look around you. Now it's hard to do that when you're working from home, but when you were in the workplace, we could. Anelia, any last words?
No, last words, no. There was a lot more difficulty in being assertive for a woman 20 and 30 years ago.
Yes,
so
yes.
I'm saying that I probably didn't become as assertive then. I wasn't assertive then as I am now, but I think we've covered it absolutely beautifully. There's not anything that I can add to it because of the times, the difference. I've got the 20 years on all of you gals, so I'm still trying to stay.
You are the youngest person on our board that I know in terms of your heart and your soul, Anelia.
Well, that's very encouraging, but
it's the truth. Look, Nicole and Pina and everybody agrees. You are.
I'm saying I've been most fortunate, and I really am grateful every day. But the education was bar none at McGill, and
that's
so
why we need everyone to contribute to our 130th anniversary to be able to give the same opportunity to other young women that we were lucky enough to have.
Absolutely, and every time you see a little blurb about our scholarship, please just tap that button.
Be generous.
And
I'd like to end with a poem because we have to end it, unfortunately, but it's been great fun. Thank you, Nicole, Pina, and Anelia. And I'd like to read the last part of a poem that was in this book called A Fair Shake, because that's what we're looking for, right, in this world, a fair shake. So the poem was written by Patty Webb Hersey. She was then the Associate Professor of Education at McGill University. And what she wrote, I'm not going to read the whole poem, but I'm going to read the last part because it rings what I believe the truth about women and about McGill. So she writes, McGill, mother of many daughters, whose generations ago agreed that women who were thought to think with their emotion might be allowed to think with their minds. Forgive us the wisdom we did not learn in school. So I thought that was a very fitting end to what was a great event. I want to now ask our new president, who we all have worked with, I myself, for a number of years, and I want to congratulate her and wish her continued success. We will be there to support her. We will be there to encourage her. And as again, I want to congratulate the new slate of members who have joined the board, and welcome anybody who is now listening to us to please join our board. We could use your energy, your hard work, your ideas. We are open to it. And as everyone said, this is a sisterhood of individuals who care about each other, who work with each other, and who respect each other. So I'm going to turn it over to Irina. And thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Pina. Thank you, Anelia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Eleni. I would like to thank you for this very outstanding and interesting leadership panel. I would also like to thank Meiji Ham for organization of today's AGM, and our past presidents for the panel, and Kay Das from University Advancement for organizing today's event. I would also want now to thank and acknowledge the outstanding accomplishments of the past presidents. The presidents that you saw today and others who were presidents of our Alumni Association, they carried the association in such a great shape, and I'm very thankful for that. The board will continue working to provide value to fellow alumni, and we will, of course, continue to support students, current female students, with our scholarships. In the next year, the board will work on 4 following projects. First is Mentorship Program. As Nicole mentioned today, we had a pilot. We have a pilot project right now, and it will wrap up in June. And we will have an important task of reviewing the pilot project and building a successful base for the next mentorship cohort. Second, the board will continue implementing a robust digital engagement and communication strategy. Next, fundraising. You heard today a lot about our 130th anniversary scholarship, and that we are raising $130,000. We are very grateful for all donations that we received, and we're still not there with our goal. So therefore, if you know a company which has a donation budget, or you know someone, please let them know about our association, what we have been doing, and you've heard today a lot. So what we have been doing for current female students at McGill, and maybe they would want to contribute to this next STEM scholarship for female students. You know where to find us. We are on Facebook and on McGill website. And finally, we believe that 2020 has brought an openness at all levels to virtual events. And from our perspective, from MWA perspective, this permits graduates from all over the world to connect. And of course, although we will pivot to in-person engagement as circumstances allow, we think that the virtual events are there to stay, or in some part. We will continue to deploy agile event and engagement strategies, and such that some of our events most probably combine in-person and virtual elements. So stay tuned. On this note, I would like to thank you all for logging in today, and I wish you a wonderful evening. Let's stay in touch. Thank you.